Hi, boys and girls. This is our math lesson 9.4, and we are going to be using our centimeter ruler and learning how to find differences. We're actually going to be subtracting today using some lengths. So first we're going to check in with Jessie Bear, and then we'll be starting work on our paper. Okay, so here we go.
How can drawing a diagram help when solving problems about lengths?
Hi there! Some kids were out here today flying this kite. They were really having fun until one of the strings on the kite broke. Click the kite to see how long the broken string is now. Oh my! The string is only 12 centimeters long now. Earlier, it was 23 centimeters long. I wonder how many centimeters of string broke off of the kite. Maybe we can draw the distances on a number line to help us solve this problem. What do you think? Come on, let's go find out.
Nate had 25 centimeters of string. He gave 7 centimeters of string to Myra. How much string does Nate have now? Asking yourself some questions will help you solve the problem. First, what do you need to find? You need to find how much string Nate has now. Then, what information do you need to use? Nate had 25 centimeters of string. He gave 7 centimeters of string to Myra. Let's solve the problem by using a number line. This is the length of Nate's string at the start of the problem, 25 centimeters. The string starts at the 0 on the number line and ends at the 25. Each space on the number line stands for 1 centimeter. This arrow shows the 7 centimeters of string that Nate gave to Myra. It starts at the 25 and points to the left toward the 0. This stands for giving away the 7 centimeters of string. The number sentence shows that 25 centimeters minus 7 centimeters is equal to some centimeters. Now you're ready to solve the problem. The number below the arrow is the number of centimeters of string Nate has left. Nate has 18 centimeters of string left. The missing number was the difference, 18. This tells you that Nate now has 18 centimeters of string. Ellie has a ribbon that's 14 centimeters long. Gwen has a ribbon that's 8 centimeters long. How many centimeters of ribbon do they have? Let's use a number line to find the length of ribbon that Ellie and Gwen have. Ellie's ribbon is 14 centimeters long. Click the number on the number line to show the length of Ellie's ribbon. Start at 0 and count 14 spaces along the number line. That's right. The 14 centimeter mark shows the length of Ellie's string. Now you need to add Gwen's 8 centimeters of ribbon to Ellie's 14. Show the number on the number line where Gwen's ribbon ends. That's right. The 22 centimeter mark shows where Gwen's ribbon ends. Which number sentence shows the problem? Good job! The number sentence 14 plus 8 shows this problem. How many centimeters of ribbon do Ellie and Gwen have? Good job! 14 plus 8 is equal to 22. So Ellie and Gwen have 22 centimeters of ribbon. Now let's practice with the personal math. Now try your home.
Thanks for helping me figure out how much string broke off the kite. See you soon!
Okay, so here's our paper, and we are problem solving. We are adding and subtracting lengths using centimeters. So our essential question is, how can drawing a diagram help when solving problems about lengths? So our first problem is, Nate had 23 centimeters of string. He gave 9 centimeters of string to Myra. So how much string does Nate have now? So to unlock the problem, the first thing that we need to find is how much string Nate has now. So it's always a good idea to underline the question. So how much string does Nate have now? Okay, and then second, we want to find out what information do I need to use to solve this problem. Well, Nate had how many centimeters? 23. So we put 23 here. So Nate had 23 centimeters. And he gave some away. So when you give away, is that adding or subtracting? That's right. It is subtracting. So he gave 9 centimeters away. So we'll put a 9 there. That's the information that we need to use to solve the problem. Now, we start out on the number line. This is our diagram where we start out with 23 centimeters of string, and then we are subtracting 9. So we go back 9 spaces and with a little arrow going that way. So starting at 23, we count 1. We don't count 23, but we count the next number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so we end right there. That's where we're ending. So our number sentence is going to be the number that we started with. So that's 23 minus the 9 that he gave away, because when you give away, it's subtraction. And when we write our number sentences, we're going to write them with a little mystery box. Okay, so there's a little mystery box. And so what number did we end on? 14. Now we did these same kind of lessons with inches in our chapter 8. So this time we're just moving along with the centimeters. Okay, so that's how we're going to you draw a diagram with a number line to find our adding and subtracting problems. Okay, so on the next page, see if I can make this a little bigger. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Maybe a little more. Just so you can see it a little better. Okay, that's a little better. So draw a diagram. Write a number sentence using a box for the missing number and then solve. And these are always the questions that we ask whenever we're solving a math problem. What do I need to find? And what information do I need to use? So when we ask what do we need to find, that is the question. So Ellie has a ribbon that is 12 centimeters long. Gwen has a ribbon that is 9 centimeters long. How many centimeters of ribbon do they have? So we want to underline the question. This is what we need to find. How many centimeters of ribbon do they have? Sorry, I can't draw a straight line on this. It's hard. Okay, And what information are we going to use? Well, we're going to use Ellie. She had 12, and Gwen had 9. Now, do you think this is an addition or a subtraction problem? Because it's how many. So usually when we talk about how many, that is how many in all. So what we want to do is, maybe I can get a line from up here. Okay, what we want to do is start out with 12 centimeters. So we start right at the 0 and we draw all the way to 12. Okay, so that's 12. And we could actually draw an arrow right there because we're going that way. Okay, and now we want to add 9. So we don't want to count at the 12. We want to start counting at the 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to end right about there, right at the 21, it looks like. Okay, and so, oops, there we go, right at the 21. And so now we're going to write our number sentence. So our, whoopsie. Okay, our number sentence is going to be, we're going to add the 12 and the 9, and when we add 12 and 9, it should end up at our number right there. So, but we're going to write 12, and then remember this is adding because the two girls added their lengths together. 12 plus 9 equals a box, the mystery box. And so we know what that mystery box is because it's right here. And yes, it is 21. So on our next problem, I hope you're enjoying doing the number line. I love number lines because they help you to see where the numbers are in the problem. And you also see the spaces along the number line. So you can see how much 12 plus 9 is. It's not just a number on a paper, but you can see it. And it's just a fun way of doing math. Okay, so a string is 24 centimeters long. Justin cuts 8 centimeters off. So how long is the string now? Well, if you have a string that's 24 centimeters long, and 24 centimeters is about this long, and you cut some of it off, will you have more or less? Yes, you will have less. You will have 8 centimeters less. So we are going to start with a line. Let's see. We're going to start with a line that is 24 centimeters long. So our first line is going to be drawn to right there. And that's 24 centimeters. But it's not going to stay 24 centimeters because it is going to reverse the other way, 8, and we're going to count 8 steps. See, we just count the space in between the numbers. And so if you start at 24 and just count back from 23 on, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We land right there on 16. That should be right. So going back to 16. And since we're going backwards, and I wasn't sure how to get my line to go backwards, so I'll just get my pen again, and we'll do that. Oh, one thing I did forget to do up here was to label the lengths. Like this one was 12, and this one was 9. So we know that the first and this was 24. and this is 8. So since he cut, that is actually subtracting. So we're going to write 24 minus 8 equals box. Okay, and we know because we ended up going backwards to the 16, 24 minus 8 really is 16. And you know, one way we can check to make sure that our subtraction is correct is to add our difference, which is 16, add 16 plus 8, and that gives us 24. And that's how we check our subtraction. Okay, and moving on to the next page. Okay, for share and show, draw a diagram and write a number sentence using a box for the missing number, then solve. A chain of paper clips is 18 centimeters long. Sandra adds 6 centimeters of paper clips to the chain. How long is the chain now? Okay, so I see that it's adding. So we want to get our arrow again, and we're going to start out with a chain of 18 centimeters. So, and we should underline what we want to find first. First, we want to find out how long is the chain now, and then what are we going to use? We're going to use 18 centimeters and 6 centimeters. So getting our arrow here, our line. So we start out with 18, and it goes about right there. And then we want to add 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We end on 24. I think we did that problem, a problem like that on the last page, except it was subtraction. Okay, and then we'll write our numbers over the top. So we have 18, a length of 18 centimeters, and a length of 6 centimeters. And so, and we're not taking any away, we're adding. So we want to write 18 plus 6, and that equals the mystery number, the box. But we can see where we ended up. We ended up right there on 24, so that is our answer. And just write that in. And now we're going to move on to math on the spot. And a ribbon was 22 centimeters long. Then Martha cut a piece off to give to Tao. Now the ribbon is 5 centimeters long. How many centimeters of ribbon did Martha give to Tao? So this is what we're going to try to find out. How many centimeters of ribbon did Martha give to Tao? And let's find out how they do it on math on the spot first, because it's not going to be 22 minus 5. It's going to be that there was 22 inches. I'm sorry, 22 centimeters. 22 centimeters. And now it goes from 22 down to 5. Where's my 5? There, 5. So now there's only 5 centimeters. So this much was cut off. Okay, so I'm gonna get us over to math on the spot, and we'll see how they solve it.
I love you as I do, little eraser.
Hi, Ginny.
Oh, hi, Professor Berger. I got a new pencil with an awesome eraser.
Wow.
Do you want to see the picture of the pony I drew?
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Check it out.
But it's blank.
Well, I erased my drawing. I told you the eraser was awesome.
You know, speaking of erasers, that actually reminds me of a math riddle where, in fact, Mark erased something. Do you want to take a look at it?
I do.
All right, let's have a look and see for ourselves. So, a chalk mark was 23 centimeters long, and Greg erased part of the mark, and now it's 6 centimeters long.
Oh.
Now, here's the question. How many centimeters of the mark did Greg erase?
Oh, let's figure it out.
Okay, so here's the challenge. So here's the original 23 centimeter mark that was left with chalk.
Right.
Okay, and just to make sure that we see that, let's actually measure that for ourselves. And here's a little number line, and I'm going to line it at 0.
Oh, that helps.
And you can see that we're at 23.
We sure are.
So that length is 23. I'm going to raise that way high up here. Okay, now we know that he erases a bunch, and when he's all done erasing, Jeannie, he's left with just 6 centimeters of the chalk mark.
Oh,
Just 6.
Are you going to do that?
Yeah, here's the 6 that he's left with. Just 6. Just 6. Just 6. Which means he erased all of this.
That's a lot.
Exactly, and we want to find out how many centimeters of the mark that he erased. So we want to find the length of this piece right here. And one way to do that, if we're lining it up on a number line, Jeannie, is just to start where it starts and just count the units. In this case, count the centimeters.
Okay.
So if we start right here, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Well, Mark must have an awesome eraser, too.
Exactly, because he erased a length of 17 centimeters, which is really a long, long ways. And we can see that for ourselves. And so the answer is Greg erased 17 centimeters of the chalk mark. And we saw that by seeing where we start and just counting the units over one at a time. And that will tell me the entire length of this from here to here.
Perfect. Oh, thanks, Professor Berger.
Sure, of course.
That was fun. Do you want to erase things?
I would love to, sure.
Okay, so I'll draw stuff and then you can erase them.
Okay, now let me think though, what should you draw? How about if you draw an invisible horse?
Well, that way it'll be easier to erase.
You read my mind. Have fun with math. I'll see you soon.
Okay, so let's see if we can solve our problem just like Professor Berger and Jeannie did. So what we want to use the information of there was a ribbon that was 22 centimeters long, and now the ribbon is 5 centimeters long. So we want to go ahead and start with we'll get our lines made. So at first, the ribbon was, oops, lost my line there. The ribbon was 22. So we draw a line on top, 22. And we want to write 22 on that. So that's 22. But now the ribbon is 5 centimeters long. So let's do a 5 centimeter line right above that. So now the ribbon is only 5 centimeters long, right there. So we'll write a 5. So somehow the length that we are missing is from the 5 to the 22. So we could do just like they did on the video. We could count 1. Well, let's draw that line, and then we'll know that this line right here is the amount that was cut. So we don't know what that is, but we can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So if we counted right, this line should be 17. And this is how much was cut off. And if we add 5 plus 17, it should equal the 22 inches that we started with. So, and it does, because 17 plus 5 does equal 22. And you can check it out if you're not quite sure. So that was our math on the spot problem. And now we'll move on to the next page. And surprise, surprise, we have our mid-chapter checkpoint. Now it says up here, try this on your own and send a picture to your teacher if you can, because this is sort of our little checkpoint quiz, little test that we do in the middle of our chapter. And right now, this is for Thursday, April 9th. And on April 10th, we start our spring break. And so this will be the last lesson before our spring break. And then we will pick up again with Math 9.5 on April 20th. So good luck on the mid-chapter checkpoint. All the second grade teachers look forward to getting a little picture of how you did. And I hope you guys are enjoying math, and we miss you very much. And have a wonderful spring break. Thanks for joining us. Okay.